It's time for...
Name That Pitch!
Yes, Name That Pitch, the game show where we look behind the headlines to see the magic of public relations at work in our daily lives.
Hi, Hugh Taylor here, and it's time for another episode of Name That Pitch, where we're going to try and figure out how and why a public relations firm pitched a story to a news media outlet and got their client placed in the news. And we're going to start with USA Today, which is, a very important newspaper and website. So a lot of the time they're not interested in pitches, but it's fascinating to see where, and I can't prove this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that a publicist or an enterprising entrepreneur pitched themselves and got themselves placed in this influential website. So we'll start on USA Today Life section. And if you scroll down, you can see certain stories. And one that really popped out for me was this story about 100 things to do while inside due to a pandemic. And this is the kind of list article that reporters often write after they've been pitched the same kind of ideas by different people. And they're like, maybe I'll just put it all together into an article. So if you go to this article, you have this long list, and it's a very kind of standard list article. Talks about how to survive the pandemic, and a lot of things in it are obviously just something that the reporter thought of or researched, like do a puzzle or start a blog. But scrolling down, this really stuck out at me. Duolingo. Download Duolingo or a similar app and teach yourself a foreign language. And as I said before, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty certain that this placement on number 7 on this list is the result of a pitch. Duolingo is an app where you can learn foreign languages. I've used it. It's awesome, but it's also not newsworthy. So it's most likely here as a result of a pitch. Somebody called up USA Today or had a relationship with a reporter and said, hey, don't you think that learning a foreign language would be a great thing to do during the pandemic? It's the perfect quarantine activity. The reporter says, oh, you're so lucky. I'm happening to be writing a list article of the 100 things you can do during the quarantine, and I'll include Duolingo in the article. And it has a backlink that has a link to another article about Duolingo, and that's a great example of a pitch in progress. Similarly here, I think this Marie Kondo may be a pitch for a fashion line and so forth. So now going over to CNN, obviously CNN, one of the main authoritative news sites of the country. You may not agree with their politics or whatever, but they are important. They're an important site to be on. If you can get on CNN, that's good for your business. And again, most of the news on CNN is not here because publicists have pitched it. I mean, they're covering major news stories like the president and the pandemic and so forth. But if you scroll down, you'll see some interesting things. So here's under News and Buzz. Here's Honda unveils its new Civic onto which to attract younger buyers. Well, as a person who spent time doing public relations, this really twanged my antenna because to me, this looks like a pitch. And if you look at the story, it's on CNN Business, and here it is. And, it reads like a press release. Honda revealed a new version of its popular Civic compact car Tuesday night. So this is high-level industry public relations at work, I suspect. I don't think that the reporter called up Honda and said, hey, you got any news for me? Much more likely that they reached out to him and said, we're coming out with a new model, and it's, maybe a good time to do a story. And by the way, I mean, a new car model coming out is newsworthy. But the pitch, what's the pitch? The pitch is to attract younger buyers. That is the pitch. Honda unveils new Civic is the news. I want you to understand the difference. Honda unveils new Civic. That's the news announcement. Revealing it on Twitch to attract younger buyers. That's the pitch. That's the hook. It's a little different. They're releasing the car on this website, on this app, or to get younger buyers. That's what got the reporter's interest. Otherwise, it's just Honda unveils its new Civic, which would probably get an article anyway. but the pitch makes it extra interesting. And if there was any question about whether this article would be included on CNN Business, that little hook, that little extra interesting pitch angle probably put it over the top. Now, if we scroll down a little further, we come to under this science and health section. It says seasonal affective disorder, guarding against it in the winter. So now that does not look like a pitch to me. Okay. However, although it could be a pitch, you could pitch depending on what you're offering. So if you look at this article, you can see something that to me is revealing of a pitch at work. So this article is about seasonal affective disorder, which is a problem that people have sometimes in the winter. Some people get depressed during the winter. So people who are suffering from this often read articles about this. And here's where I think the pitch is coming into play. Okay, this gentleman, Jamie Blandino, a clinical psychologist and co-founder of Thrive Center for Psychological Health. How did this person get into this article? Okay, I don't know, but I'm going to offer you what I think is a pretty solid theory. One possibility, obviously, is that the reporter tried to find someone who could talk about this issue. More likely is that this person, the psychologist or somebody representing him, called the reporter and said, I have an article idea about seasonal affective disorder, and I would like you to interview this psychologist and get their opinion on it. And so here's a quote from him. Now the question you might have is, why is it worth it for this why is it worth it for this? Because it's not clear what the connection is. And if you look carefully at the article, there's no link to this psychologist's website. Okay. And that's because a site like CNN most likely doesn't do links. That's probably their editorial policy. But what you will see is some very specific suggestions that he's making. And I think that what this does is it positions Blandino, the psychologist, as a thought leader on this issue and will help his authority in Google search. And it also provides a really great press clipping for him to use to validate his authority on this subject. Another article, another section that came up that was interesting in this look at CNN is something called Underscored, which is appears to be a section of the site for affiliates. It's an affiliate link where it has different gift ideas, and companies are included here. This is not part of the CNN news operation. It's a product guide that they publish that it helps that they earn money on affiliate revenues. But it's also an idea for pitching, because you can get your product listed. It probably gets a lot of traffic, and you have the CNN brand aura to help you make your brand look good. So those are some pitches for today. Thank you for playing Name That Pitch, and we'll look forward to doing it again real soon. Thanks.